All right, sports fans, it's March 31st, 2018. And, man, it's like winter ain't never going to end. I just came in from outside, fed my critters. I got quail and rabbits and what have you outside. And a lot of dogs that love the shit out of me. And I love my dogs. That's a whole other story. But I'm gonna do it's probably gonna be a two-part uh, series, a video, if you will. And I'm going to call this the birth of freedom. And I got a lot to say about what's going on in this country and where we're headed. And I'll tell you, it's man, crazy, straight up nuts shit, man. We got high school kids that are 15, 16, 17 years old trying to tell us old bastards how we're going to live our life. Well, it ain't going to work real well. It's just not going to happen. And I don't even know if YouTube's going to let me upload this, but I'm going to do my best. I'm going to try like hell. But I want to bring up a couple of things and give a little history lesson here about what's great about this country. And this is the greatest country that was ever born. And I don't care if you're a communist, you're a socialist, or whatever. It's undisputed. This is the best place to live. Always has been, always will be. And it all began in April 19th of 1775. And that's when shot was heard around the world. And it's a very significant date. That's when a lot of shit happens on that date for some reason. I can't explain it. Nobody can. But it's a very important date. And the reason it's important is because that's when it all began. And there were folks that were gathered to meet the British. And the Brits wanted to take our frickin' guns, and the founders just wouldn't give them up. They knew why they couldn't give them up, because if they give them up, then they'll march right over top of us. So remember that date. That's the important date. Remember that date, 4/19/75. On that date, there was a general named Thomas Gage. And he was ordered by King George III to seize the colonists' military stores. And what that means is our weapons, our ammo, our everything. Had anything that we could fight the British. And he failed, and it's a damn good thing he did. And they came in to Concord. There was 700 British troops, something like that. They came into Concord, and they were met by like just a handful of patriots, men that were farmers, and they were militiamen. This is where the Second Amendment comes in. They were militiamen, and I think there was like 70 of them or something. I mean, it was 10-1. It's 10-1, and shots were exchanged, and that's when it all began. And then we went from that point in history. We went into the birth of the nation, and the birth of the nation is very important. It's when the Constitution was written, and there was a lot of argument. It was a long, drawn-out process. Went on to great length. And, there's so much about this. I can talk about the Federalist Papers. I could even quote the Federalist Papers. I could even read them to you, but I'm not going to do that. That's up to you. But there was huge arguments about how this country should be built and what our structure should be, and so on and so forth. And the founders knew that one thing we had to have was citizen control. And once again, this gets back to the Second Amendment, and with all the crap that's going on about, shit in Florida and these high school kids, that think first of all, these kids, they don't know come here for a second. They don't know jack shit. And they're going to sit here and tell us how, they can IM and that punk ass, whatever his name is, using his foul mouth and going to teach us how to do an instant message, and because we can't do an instant message and we can't run a democracy. Well, first of all, we're not a democracy. This country's never been a democracy, and I'm sick and fucking tired of nobodies that don't know shit calling this a democracy. This is not a democracy. This country was never set up to be a democracy, and it never will be as long as those old bastards are around. So anyway, moving forward, and like they say in YouTube land, I digress. Well, maybe I do, but damn it, I'm pissed off. Downright aggravated, mad, and just fed right up to my throat with this shit. So then we get the Constitution, and the Constitution was written to protect us from these tyrannical bastards that wanted to rule us. Take our guns, take our land, take our weapons, take our ammo. Back then it was balls and powder, but hell, these young bastards don't even know that. So, moving forward, there's so many things I get so flustered I can't even think straight sometimes. But when the Constitution was written, it was written to protect you and me, and protect these idiots that are too damn stupid and even know that it's written for them, and they don't get it. I guess that's not our problem, but it is when they start shitting all over it. I guess it makes it our problem, but I'm not going to get overly concerned about that because I know the truth. I took an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And I took the same oath that police officers take, everybody in the military takes, and everybody in the Congress takes, and everybody in the Senate takes, and the President takes, and some 17-year-old kid that's in high school, he ain't never took this oath, so he don't get it, man. I don't give a shit. His opinion doesn't matter to me. I used to be a 17-year-old kid, and I thought I had the world by the balls, and I thought I knew everything there was to know about everything in life. Man, was I wrong. I was dead wrong. So, moving along. When we were formed as a nation, there were certain things that were put in place for power, and the president has more power than anybody gives him credit for. And there's a balance of powers. You got the three power structures. You got the executive, the judicial, and so on and so forth. But man, I'm here to tell you that the president, if he plays his cards right, has got a lot of power. And there was an outfit that was formed. It's called the Third Infantry Regiment, and these guys they were formed in I can't remember when. I'm looking at some notes here. It was in 1784. And the 3rd Infantry Brigade is not the same as the 3rd Infantry Division. It's a totally different operation. But anyway, they were given exclusive power to protect the president, and they do honor guard, and they do funerals. They do things that are just exclusively at the executive level. And they do have a battalion of men that are combat ready. So when the president, if he needs to call these boys up, he can do that. And then, it moves on from there. And that, like I said, that was in Uh, oh hell, what did I say? Look at my notes again. 1784, and we move forward from that, and then we go to 1801. That's when Jefferson was elected, and when Thomas Jefferson was elected, that's when we had these issues with the Barbary Pirates, and a lot of you people don't know who the Barbary Pirates were. Well, they were straight up evil bastards and Muslims. This shit with Islam's been going on forever. And I'm probably going to get flagged for this if I upload this, if they let me upload this, but I really don't give a shit. But this Islam thing has been going on for a long, long time. And when Jefferson became elected, that's when he formed the Marine Corps. And the Marine Corps was under the same thing as the 3rd Infantry Regiment. They answered to the president exclusively. And so the president can call up the 3rd Infantry Regiment and USMC, the entire Corps, at his beck and call, and they only answer to him. And this is what's unique about this. And our founders knew this, and I think it's just it's outstanding the way it was all put together. So back to the Barbary Pirates, that stuff was going on. For from 1530, from the 1500s to 1800s, almost 200 years, and they were rounding up people. When anybody sailed into the Mediterranean, the way it worked, when anybody sailed into the Mediterranean Sea, they were captured and seized by these pirates that were Muslim, and up through Libya and all in there, and they captured ships and they stole shit. They did straight up pirate shit. And by the time Jefferson got elected president, he'd had enough. He said, well, this ain't going to work for us. It ain't going to work. And that's when the USMC was born. And the United States Marine Corps was born strictly for that purpose. It was to protect those straits and stop these pirates from stealing shit, seizing ships and boats. And they were also the biggest importers and exporters of slaves. And a lot of people don't know this. But, they talk about the white slave trade, from West Africa. And shit, man. This shit's been going on in North Africa for a long, long time. And it was brown people selling black people. And they were selling to white people, and they were also selling white people. And, so, and I take issue when people start talking shit about the sorry-ass white people and saying we're the evil bastards. Well, we're not. There's a whole lot of evil been going on this planet for a long, long time, and it started long before Whitey did it. And that's really about all I got to say about that. When Jefferson was elected, he did a lot of good things as far as the country was going. And then along came Andrew Jackson, and Jackson was I don't know, man. I got mixed emotions about Andrew Jackson. He didn't like anybody, I don't think. Well, I'm pretty sure he didn't. He didn't like Indians. That's where the Trail of Tears came from. He marched the 5 civilized tribes out of the east, moved them west to Oklahoma, starved them, beat them, killed them on a trail. That's why it's called the Trail of Tears. And he did fight the Brits in 1812, because they came back after us. He did that. I'll give him that. And another thing I'll give him is he was dead set against a controlled banking system, which I'm dead set against, because that's where we're at today, and that's the reason we're in the trouble we're in. So, Jackson did some good things, but he did a lot of evil shit too. Mixed emotions about that. I'm not going to go into all the reasons why Jackson's good or evil. I'm not going to do that. I mean, do your own homework. See, and the people I'm talking to, all of you know me, and I know you're all capable of reading and doing your own homework. So that's what I recommend. And that's about all I got for tonight. I'm going to leave it off at Jackson, and I think I'm going to do a part 2 on this, and I'm going to move forward with. I want to talk about Lincoln, Johnson, Nixon, right up to Reagan, and moving forward. But that's all I'm going to do for tonight, because I got 15 minutes, and on YouTube they probably won't let me do much more than that if they let me do this. So anyway, I'm out here, and Godspeed, y'all.